Hey guys, what is up once again? I'm back here with my gorgeous face. My name is Milan and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, this is actually kind of confusing for me because I'm also going to be filming an IGTV for the first section of this video. But for you guys, I will be showing you how I block down my brows completely full T. After I block my brows down, then I will be doing a super glamorous opulent makeup look. So if you want to see what I'm going to create, because I don't even know how I'm going to do it yet, then keep on watching. As always, before we get into it, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel so you do not miss out on any of my posts, and click that notification bell. I'm waiting. So let us get back on with the look. So I have moisturised my skin, as you can see, so it is all settling in at the moment. But whilst that is settling in, I will start blocking my brows down. To block your brows down, all you're going to really need is a glue stick, some rubbing alcohol, which is optional, a comb or some kind of brow comb to push all the hairs up, and some translucent powder. And if you are blocking your brows down for drag or something that you're going to put foundation over, you're going to want some kind of orange or red toned concealer. So to start off, if you really want to make sure your brows are completely snatched and laid down, you're going to want to take some rubbing alcohol on a cotton pad and just rub that into the brows to make sure you're getting rid of any kind of grease or dirt that might be laying in between the hairs. This is an optional step, so I'm not going to bother doing it. I don't usually do it, but when I first started I did, because it does honestly really help the glue stick to the skin a lot better. Instead, I'm just going to rub my brows down quickly with the tissue just to get any excess moisturiser off, and then I'll go in straight with the glue. So for the glue, you're going to want to take something water-based so that you can get it out at the end of the day. This also makes it a lot easier to glue the brows down because it is a lot slipperier than any other kind of glue or Pros-Aide. So the glue I'm going to take is the traditional Elmer's washable glue stick. It is also non-toxic, so you'll see why I say that later on, but it is also safe around your skin. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking the glue stick and I'm just going to really rub that into the brow hairs. You don't need to be neat at all with this. You could just go straight in and make sure you're coating every single hair on your face. And it also helps to go in sort of like circular motions just to make sure everything is coated. Then you're going to want to take your comb. Mine has a few missing bristles in it, but that doesn't matter. I kind of work with it at the end. And what you're going to want to do is start to comb your brow hairs straight up. And on the back of it, there's this sort of flat bevel. And that's what I'm going to use to sort of like push down the brow hairs at the same time. There you go. So I've completely pushed the hairs up, and at the same time it flattened them down with the brush. You can also use the end of a brush just to smooth it out again, but I'm not going to bother with that because I've already got it pretty flat already. Then whilst the first coat dries, I'm going to take a baby wipe and just remove all of that excess glue. And I like to do this in between each step, just so that at the very end I don't have lots of glue to remove. So every time I finish a step on this side, I will repeat on this side off camera, just so it doesn't take up too much time. So once that is all dry, I can move on to the second layer. And for the second, third and fourth, if we need it, you don't need to use a comb at all because the brows are already so laid up, it doesn't really affect it anymore. So I'm just gonna go straight in with the glue stick, and I'm just gonna start packing on that glue and just rubbing it all the way up. And this is just to get any more of those little hairs that didn't stick down in the first round, just to stick a little bit more. And again, just removing any of that excess glue with the makeup wipe, just to make sure it's nice and clean. Now going in with the third layer, I'm just going to do the exact same process again. I think I will go in probably about 4 times, that is pretty standard for me, just to make sure that all the hairs are completely laid down. When it does come to about my third layer, I do find that my glue stick gets a little bit dry, so this is the reason I say you should get a non-toxic glue stick. This isn't hygienic at all, and if you're doing this on a client, or if you're a bit icky with things like this, definitely don't use this. You can obviously use like a setting spray or just water, but when it gets a bit dry, I just lick the glue stick and then keep going and licking.
Disgusting!
And because it is a water-soluble glue stick, this sort of smooths out any lumps of glue. And once again, just cleaning off the edges. If you are looking to learn how to glue down your brows professionally or for clients where you don't want to use something DIY like a glue stick, I would definitely recommend Pros-Aide or Aquafix, I think it is. Pros-Aide is an industry standard sort of glue. It's used mainly in like prosthetics and stuff. So I have tried it out using on the brows. I mixed it with a special like powder, I'm not sure what it was, but it makes the Pros-Aide a lot thicker, or you can use a cream Pros-Aide. This is a little bit harder to work with because it is almost like super glue. You have to be really quick because it does dry quite quickly and it can be a bit fiddly in the brows. But once you get the hang of it, it is an amazing alternative to a glue stick. It is obviously a little bit more expensive than glue, but it lasts so much longer. Okay, so we're on the final layer, which is the fourth layer. I am going to go in with this fourth layer because there are a few little hairs that I want to really secure down, but after this we are good to go. And if you're not getting a headache whilst you're doing this, then you're not doing it right. Every time I block down my brows, I get such a headache because I'm really pushing into my head and just making sure everything is very secure. With this layer, you want to work a little bit quicker because this one is the one where you're going to powder it down when it's tacky. So I'm quickly removing any excess product with a wipe, and then I'll go in with my powder. The powders that I'm using, I think, are a translucent and a banana powder that I've just mixed together, and I have a nice little sponge to really pack it in with. So the glue has been drying for literally about 30 seconds, and I'm gonna start packing that powder on. And you really, really want to force this in. Make sure it is in every single little crevice. When you're gluing your brows down, you can kind of still see that there are a few little ridges, but when you start to put the powder in, this sort of acts as like the cement and just fills up all of those little gaps. I'm gonna go do the other eye, obviously off camera, and then let it bake for about 5 minutes. I'm really happy with how they're looking so far. I can tell that there are no hairs sticking out and they're super, super snatched. So that has been baking for about 5 minutes, and I'm just dusting off any of that excess powder. And there we go, so that is now nice and snatched and laid. So the next step, if you were doing this with a normal foundation over the top, you would want to go in with a red concealer. But I'm going in with a super, super pale foundation, almost white for this look. So I don't want to have some other color underneath, otherwise it can mess up my whole vibe. Okay, so I've finished the IGTV now, so I can actually focus on this video instead. So to move on to the face now. For primer today, I'm going to be going in with the NYX Professional Makeup Hydra Touch Primer. I really like this just to moisturize my skin a little bit, and it kind of blurs my pores a bit too. It's also a little bit cooling too, which I like, just to calm down any redness in my skin, and it's just a super light primer, so it doesn't feel heavy or anything. For this look, I kind of want to be super pale, but I don't want to be white for once. That sounded so wrong. So I'm going to take a white foundation and my normal foundation and just slightly mix them together. So I'm just going in with the MUA Pro Base Foundations in the shade 100 and 130. So I've just mixed in like a tiny drop of the dark foundation and then quite a bit of the white, just so there's a light skin tone to it, but it is super, super pale. Then to add some white highlight just to really make it pop, I'm going to go in with the Morphe C0 Concealer. And if you guys want to save some money off Morphe, definitely use my code GLAMFAM669. And I'm just adding that in the usual places just to make it super bright. I'm actually quite surprised at how much I do like this concealer. I've never had a white concealer before, but this has actually really been working for me. The consistency of it does feel a little bit dry when you put it on, and it feels like it's going to disrupt the foundation, and the finish of it is quite glowy. To add a little bit of definition to the face, I'm going to go in with my Colourpop blush in the shade Matchmaker, and of course you can use code 5Milan to save yourself some money off of Colourpop too. And what I like is that this is quite a muted blush, so it's actually working really nicely with this base. It's not sticking out too much, but it's also not fading too much. There we go, so I'm just building up that coverage with it, and I'm also going on the nose and the lips just to get a really nice diffused sort of sick look. I just realised that I never even told you guys what look I'm doing. Basically, I found this really amazing artist on Instagram. I think it was like a sponsored post or something, but it just popped up on my feed and I'm obsessed with their artwork. So the artist's name is Kelly Robertaille. I don't really know if I'm pronouncing that right, but she does these gorgeous paintings or drawings. I'm not too sure what sort of medium they are either, but they're just these gorgeous sort of doll-like figures. And the one I saw, I'll put up on the screen now, but is this gorgeous sort of opulent lady crying gold tears with like this gold chandelier face. It's so gorgeous and I fell in love with it straight away, and I thought, you know what, let's do that Milan style. So moving on to the eyes, I'm going to go in with the Sugarpill Orange Capsule, and I'm going to go do one eye off camera just so I know what I'm doing. As always, you know the drill, I'm not even going to bother with it, and I will be right back. Okay, so I kind of messed up the eye, well, not really the eye, but the brow. I'm trying to do like those really thin 20s brows, and I did one really, really good one. I think it was actually two really, really good ones. And now every time I do them, they just look so bad. And it's really annoying me because I can't get a good one done. But that is, oh, it looks so, like, I don't even know what it is. But anyway, this is the sort of eye look we're going for. And in the original picture, it's not this sort of like halo eye, but I thought it would be kind of cute to change it. So I'm gonna show you how to do it on this side, and hopefully I can actually do the brow. I probably will do it off camera just to make sure it's okay at least, and then I will come back on. So as I said, I'm going in with the Sugarpill Orange palette. So I'm just going in with that dark burgundy shade, and I'm just starting to carve out the crease. And I want it to be super rounded, so I'm doing that from the front too. And I'm really starting to round that off under the eye too, just so it's one big circle. And to blend that out, I'm going in with that salmony orange sort of shade. And then I'm just going in with that super, super dark brown, just to further define the crease. And then for the gold on the lid, I'm just going in with the gold shade from another palette, just to create that halo effect. So that is pretty much the eye done. Obviously I'm going to go off camera to do that brow, just to make sure that at least this side looks good. I didn't want it to be too neat because this look is meant to be very sort of grungy and not very polished, so it doesn't really matter if everything isn't blended to perfection like it usually is. I definitely think this eye has come out better. Let's just ignore the fact that they are very, very different. One is a lot darker and in a completely different position, but I'm going to post on this side anyway, so just ignore that side completely. I'm also going to go in with a little bit of highlighter just to spruce this up a little bit. And for this one, I'm going to take the ABH Snowflake Loose Highlighter. This is such a pretty highlighter, but I can only ever use this when I'm doing like full white looks. Otherwise it is literally just silver on me. If you are more fair toned, then this would definitely be a nice highlighter for you. But it is just such a soft and glowy highlighter, and it really melts into the skin. Moving on to lashes next, I'm going to be taking a pair of Tati Lashes TL Mitchell Originals, and I'm going to paint these white so that they give a sort of a more creepy vibe. Okay, I know this looks absolutely crazy, but I am going to put some under lashes on too that I'll paint white, but first I need to do the gold sort of tier. I have no idea if this is actually going to look good at the end of this. I'm really hoping it does and that I can just sell the final image, but I'm just going to push through at this point. So I'm going to move on to the gold tiers, and I'm not going to have them painted on. I kind of want it to look a little bit more 3D. So I do have some pre-made glue tiers that I made ages back that I'm going to use, and I've got different sort of sizes so I can place them so it looks kind of messy but real. Okay, so I've just glued them down with some eyelash glue, and then I'm going to go over with the Mehron Metallic Pigment in the shade Gold. So I actually decided not to do any underlashes just because I didn't want it to be too much, especially because I will have contact lenses in afterwards, so it might just look a little bit too busy. But anyway, I'm going to move on to the lips now, and for the lips I'm going to be taking the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Unicorn Blood Lip Ammunition. And for the lips I want it to be really diffused and deep red, so I'm taking the lipstick on this little brush and I'm just going to like blend out the edges so it really diffuses into the face. I'm also just taking some of that gold pigment and just tapping that into the centre of the lips. So finally, that is the base of the makeup done. I'm gonna go do the chandelier sort of pattern on the top off camera quickly, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I was gonna come on here and do the other half and show you guys how I did it, but it was already hard enough as it was doing it on myself, looking up with these massive lashes on, so I thought I'd just do all of it off camera. But all I really did was outline where I wanted the diamonds and stuff to go with eyelash glue, and then just stuck them all on in that same sort of pattern. I tried to go with some diamonds and jewels that resembled the original painting quite similarly, so I think I did a pretty good job with that. Unfortunately, I don't have any sort of like brooches to go in my hair, and that is what the sort of drawing had. They had like these gorgeous sort of brooches that would go right there and there, but I don't really have that, so I'm just going to do my normal sort of diamonds in the white hair look. I'm just going to go throw in some Mesmerize Blind White contact lenses. I'm going to go throw those in and do the rest of the makeup off camera. Once again, you guys are so sick of me jumping back and forth. I promise I will find a better way of doing it in the future, but for now, I'll see you in literally 1 second. And there we go, this is the finished product, the finished result. I'm so obsessed with it. I'm so happy I didn't give up also halfway through. I think this is just something that always happens. I get halfway through and I want to quit literally everything. But I'm so happy I didn't, because this looks so sickening. I wish I did have the whole hair piece and everything, but for now this will do. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Definitely like this video and subscribe to my channel, and go check out my others, TikTok and Instagram, for some behind the scenes magic. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.